What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to another cold email success story interview. I am here with the man, Dallas. What's going on?
How we doing?
I'm great. You have a very unique situation with cold email with your offer and your pricing and how high ticket it is. So I want to run through for the audience what offer you have, what price point you typically sell it at, and how you've been able to get results using cold email.
Yeah, for sure. Just to walk you through, we have two offers. We have a offer first that is towards obviously building custom software, and that we do a scope out week, which is normally around 5 to 10 grand. And then from there, that scope out week parlays into about a $100 to $200,000 offer. So obviously depends on the client, but that's the range.
$100 to $200,000 offer is incredible, and it's for software development is known as like a hard niche to tap into. It's hard to sell, not really quantifiable results to pitch. But let's talk about what you've been able to see from cold email since we started working together on the copy and strategy side of things. If you want to run through how many calls you booked, how many deals you've closed, what the value of those deals are, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, for sure. I started by myself for a month and didn't get many results. I probably only booked, I don't know, 4 or 5 total leads in a month. And so we started working together around February 9th. Basically, since February 9th, so 5 months, 170 leads. What's that? About 10 leads a week.
Not
And
bad.
then normally about I'd say 4 meetings a week off of that. So been really busy.
Yep. And then in terms of conversions, what are you looking at? You've closed 2 deals, I believe.
Yeah, we've closed 2 deals. Obviously, with the ticket prices being high, there's a lot of stuff that we get that'll push or they need to get funding for, so it takes
Yeah.
time. So obviously have a lot kind of sitting in the pipe still, but yeah, 2 deals off of cold email.
So for anyone watching, if you can do the math, 2 deals, the ticket size he mentioned earlier, pretty substantial returns from, the investment that's necessary for cold email. I won't state any numbers for compliance sake, but it's obviously a very big return with what he's been doing with cold email. So if you want to kind of run through your strategy real quick, I know we've worked on it together, but just for the audience out there, what approach you've taken to sell software development, stuff like that to a cold audience, which is typically a pretty hard offer to sell.
Yeah, I think the thing that we've done that's been unique is we've led with value. So instead of trying to jump people on a call, we've led with value by using the Loom video strategy. The CTA that we always go with is the video. I have some ideas or value to lead to someone's business. Instead of tearing someone's business down, I go in and give actionable feedbacks. I'm not going in and tearing apart their business like, oh, your website looks terrible. I'm just coming in and go, hey, man, this I think could add value, and this is the ROI that I think. And what it shows 2 things is I understand that I can actually think and that what I'm about to do is actually going to add value. And that's all people want to talk to is they want to get on calls with people that can actually add value. And I'm actually showing that. And the videos are custom ahead of time. So that video strategy worked really, really well when you have a super high ticket offer.
Yep. And you kind of like ascend them through a value stack, if you will, because you do the free video, you build some trust there, and then you do a sprint, you said? What was like that low ticket thing that gets them to get started?
Yeah, so most people go, they go like, "Hey, how much does software cost?" And you're like, "Well, it's anywhere between $100 to $200,000." And they're like, "Oh," and so we go, "Yeah," but what we do is we do a 5,000 to 10,000, depends on the amount of work scoping sprint, where we scope that out and we judge the ROI. And so our whole thing is how do you generate ROI with software? It can be done, but with a super high ticket, there has to be an ROI to the business, or they're just not going to do it. And so that's what we do in that scoping sprint is we just go and basically we're allowed to sell to them for 3 weeks really intimately. That's really what it is. We're getting paid to sell. So it's the best thing we ever discovered. We're literally one-on-one with them and getting paid to find out all their deepest, darkest pain points. And we get
Yep.
3 weeks to show how we can do it better, how we can make an impact.
Yeah, that's amazing. A lot of people with their cold email are like, oh, I can just go from email to booked call to closed deal. And you have to understand, if you're watching this, the amount of sweat equity, trust, time, sales cycle that goes into this whole thing. Like you could generate a reply to your email today on June 25th, get on the call in 2 weeks, follow up for 3 weeks, and you don't close the deal for 2 months down the line. But that is why you should always keep your cold emails running, is because some people are like, I'm shutting my campaigns off. I have too many leads to deal with. But that's the worst thing you can do, because those deals take a month to play out. And if you have the cycle running constantly, there's constantly, a 2 month sales cycle coming to an end. And every single week you have these massively long deal cycles, wrapping up and turning into a deal, which creates that continuity with your sales velocity. So that's why I always advocate for keeping your campaigns running. And I'm sure you agree. But I just want to pivot into the volume that it takes, because you said you had like 170 leads over the past few months. Even at like a 1% email to lead rate, that's still, you know, 17,000 emails sent. I'm sure you've prospected a lot more people than that. So if you want to give some insight into how much volume it takes to get lead flow for a super high ticket offer.
Yeah, I think with any offer, volume is the name of the game. That people are just experiencing way too much, way too much stuff. You're not the only one out there. So to get heard is really, really hard. To understand the volume, we would send 1,000 brand new emails a day. From that, we're going to get like, a bunch of responses, and I'm going to get one or two interested. So every 1,000, I get about 2 interested replies. I will send over the video. Someone will watch it 100%, and then I will still have to follow up. I just booked a call literally between this meeting. I sent the guy the video April 29th. I have probably called him, I don't know, probably 50, 60 times. And he was like, oh yeah, thanks for following up with me. Yeah, I'll hop on a call next week. So what people don't understand is not just volume in the email, but the follow-up has to be, I probably sent him 15 emails and calls, and he's like, yeah, thanks for the follow-up. I've been meaning to get around to this. So just don't follow up, whether it's front-end email or back-end volume. You just got to keep going.
Yep. Most people just don't understand the time to lead and like people will send 3 follow-ups and just give up on the lead, which is super crazy.
You never give up. You never give up until you get a yes or no. I will call someone forever until I get a yes or no. And guess what? They always pick up eventually.
Yep. 100%.
And then you get your yes or no.
Some people are just afraid to get that like aggressive no. Like, I don't want to get told to, screw off, which is what, if you're getting a yes or a no, sometimes you get that no and you get told to piss off, but that's just part of the game. And you just got to learn to live with that. I always say like getting your first angry reply with some cuss words and vulgarities is like your initiation to cold email. So there's going to be a lot more where that came from, but that's just kind of how the nature of the game works. But yeah, man, I mean, super interesting case study just for me, because a lot of the services I deal with are $3,000 retainers, $500 SEO sprint. When you're coming in and, generating meaningful pipeline for a 6-figure software, service, which is pretty incredible. So just to wrap up, any last minute, tips, advice to people that are getting started with cold email?
Volume negates luck. That's it. It's just always volume. Everything you do, just about volume. You will get lucky with volume.
Simple enough. I completely agree. It's like, oh, I'm not getting enough of a positive reply rate. What do I do? It's like, send more emails.
Correct. Always. Yeah. And deliverability. Watch your deliverability like a hawk. That is my second thing. I made that mistake. You want to be checking your deliverability weekly. Every week you should do a deliverability analysis because you lose it, and it is the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've been battling with that, but you've weathered it and came back from it, so that's good to see. But yeah, man, just to wrap up, where can people find you, follow you, learn more about your software development? Maybe a massive company is watching this and they want a software job or a software built.
Yep. Dallas Fontaine on LinkedIn and Twitter. Pretty unique name, so there's not many of us out there, so pretty easy to find.
Absolutely, man. Awesome. I'll drop your contact links in the show notes or in the YouTube description. And that about wraps it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was valuable to you to see and break some limiting beliefs around cold email for high ticket offers. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Dallas, and we'll talk soon.
Cheers.